good hunting, good fishing, and good boating. Your Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency plays a major role in making sure outdoor recreation remains Tennessee's #1 activity. Keep up with the latest information on our website at tnwildlife.org. On this episode of Tennessee Outdoor Journal, we'll go on a hog trap field trip with the kids from First Lego League. We'll venture to AEDC Wildlife Management Area to learn about good quality habitat with a pollinator plot being seeded. Learn about what great fishing success could be in your future at Williamsport Family Fishing Lakes. We'll go on a bat forage study on Bear Hollow Wildlife Management Area and try to keep up with a tricolor bat. The winter trout stocking program hits Smyrna, Tennessee with some nice rainbow trout and some anglers there to catch them. We'll go dove hunting with some kids in Spring Hill, Murray County. We'll watch fisheries biologists detail striped bass and hybrid striped bass management on Percy Priest Lake. And we'll finish up with free fishing day fun in Fayetteville, Tennessee. Tennessee Outdoor Journal is opening the cover and inviting you in for a behind-the-scenes look at the work being done every day by your Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Let's turn the page. What kind of legacy will we leave when our days upon this earth are gone? Tell me who will carry on this work that we've begun, care enough to be the keeper of the dream. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Tennessee Outdoor Journal. Our first story today is a hog trap field trip.
In this case on the bottom has marine batteries like in your boat.
Sure.
And then up here is your camera.
This team is called the Tree Climbing Fish. We are a community-based Lego League, First Lego League STEM team. This is the kids' 5th year doing projects, and every year First Lego comes up with a new topic, so we don't do the same thing every year. And this year the team's topic was to improve an interaction between people and animals, or animals and people, or both. And they chose to do an interaction between feral hogs and the economic impact that it has on farmers.
They're causing a lot of damage, costing a lot of money, millions, and that they are a big problem.
So here's our trap, here's our door that we drop. We're zoomed in right here. They were doing a project on wild hog eradication and their economic impacts on farmers and agricultural world. They contacted us because we actually have trap systems out to where we have wild hogs on our management areas and we're trying to control them.
Would it be better to put all the feed in the middle so then they all kind of go to the middle where
they just wanted to come out and kind of see what we were doing, and if they could come up with any kind of ideas on how to innovate and improve our system.
You know, actually when they first started the idea, the kids thought about, oh, well, let's do a camera system. It's connected to your phone. You don't have to be out there. And then we're like, oh, wait, that's already been done. So then they had to go on to the next step. And because it cannot be, a project has to actually innovate what's existing. They cannot just take stuff that's already there and present that as their own. So they encourage you to be creative, think outside of the box.
So our idea is that it will be a trap, and then in the middle there will be another trap.
We see this stuff every day where, you know, it's kind of hard for us to improve something we already got that knows how it works. So when you give this idea to a younger mind, you know, they can come up with an idea. It's kind of like the truck that was trying to get through the tunnel and they couldn't figure out how to get through there. And this little kid says, well, why can't you let the air out of the tires?
The whole point of this project is to make the kids very confident and educated and knowledgeable about what's going on. And every year they get better and better at asking questions and learning. And so that's really what this is all about, is for them to pick a topic and take it to the end.
Let's learn about Habitat Pollinator Plot.
Today we're out on the AEDC wildlife management area. And what we're doing, we're putting out a pollinator plot. This pollinator plot is designed to put more flowering plants out here to increase the pollinator population. Pollinators being bees, wasps, yellow jackets, whatever pollinates one flower to another. This pollinator seed is really small, light, fluffy, different sized seed. We were able to do this and get the seed through a grant from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They put together a proposal, AEDC folks did, put together a proposal to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and we were able to get a grant to secure money for the seed. The seed is not cheap, but it is very productive for producing great habitat. Because there's so many different varieties of flowering plants in the mix, it's hard to go out and just drill it in like normal seed. So we came out today on a cold morning, and we're doing a freeze thaw planting. The ground was frozen last night, and when it starts thawing out, everything kind of spews up, and then hopefully it's supposed to rain the next day or two, and it'll put that seed in the ground without putting it too far in the ground. One of the things that I'm interested in doing is promoting good quality habitat outside of just our normal constituents, trying to promote quality habitat interest outside of just the regular hunters and fishermen that we have. Bees pollinate everything, from the local gardens to our row crops. Bees pollinating provide food in the grocery store for us. So we're promoting this, not just doing it here, but hopefully this public message will reach a lot of folks. Our focus here today is pollinators, but putting the forbs and the flowers back into the environment. All these are native species. We've got butterfly milkweed, partridge pea, coneflower, black-eyed Susan, and a lot of goldenrods. So we're putting native seed back on the landscape. So putting those back into the environment, it's going to create good quality habitat for everything. This pollinator plot will be excellent quail habitat, excellent rabbit habitat. There'll be a lot of deer browse, a lot of opportunity for turkey nesting. So we're doing a pollinator plot, but it's not just good for bees, it's good for everything.
Our next story is all about family fishing lakes at Williamsport.
This is the Williamsport Lakes, which is part of the 8 family fishing lakes in Middle Tennessee in Region 2. We have Blue Cat Lake, Shellcracker Lake, and Goldeneye Lake. Now, if you come out here, everybody can fish in those lakes. At Whippoorwill Lake, it is considered a youth fishing lake. For an adult to fish in that lake, they have to have a youth 16 and under fishing with them. These lakes are very fertile lakes compared to a lot of our, not just our agency lakes, compared to a lot of other lakes across the state. So they get good reproduction, and the fishing is good year-round, whether it be winter, spring, summer, or fall. If you bring your own boat, there is good boat access at all the lakes. If you pick the right day, you're apt to catch a good mess of fish. All of our agency lakes the primary purpose is fishing. If you come here at Williamsport, you don't have to, you're not allowed to use a gas motor. So you can only, if you use a motor, it has to be a trolling motor. A lot of people will bring their canoe or their kayak and paddle. If you're wanting to get away from some of the water sports and just want to concentrate on fishing, that's what draws a lot of people, because they are fishing only. There is a lot of bank fishing access, and there's fishing piers to fish off of. We have boat rentals. Flat bottom boats, you will be provided a life jacket and a paddle. It's recommended that if you have a small child, you probably need to bring your own life jacket that fits them. If you rent a boat, you can bring your own trolling motor and use it. These lakes are stocked by the agency. There'll be largemouth bass. We have crappie. We have Cherokee bass, which is a hybrid between a striper and a white bass. You'll catch red ear sunfish, also known as shellcracker. You'll catch bluegill, and we also, the agency stocks blue and channel catfish. Our concessionaire, you can buy your bait here. They sell minnows, they sell worms, all types of live bait, and they sell some artificial baits, and they sell soft drinks, water, snacks. They'll cook you food if you want to get you something, a hot meal. The license requirements are the same for any public fishery across the state. But these agency lakes, you'll be required to have an additional, either a daily permit or an annual permit. And you can also purchase those at the concession. These lakes are open 365 days a year, 7 days a week. But you can only fish 30 minutes before sunrise until 30 minutes after sunset. They are closed at night. If you want to find out more information about fishing our agency lakes and our concessionaires, you can go to our Facebook page, or you can also visit us on the web at tnwildlife.org.
Let's learn about a recent bat forage study.
We're here at Bear Hollow Wildlife Management Area, and we're looking at the foraging and roosting ecology of the tricolored bat. Here we are. Before white nose syndrome was found in Tennessee, tricolored bats were the most common cave roosting bat in the state. But white nose syndrome has really hurt their populations, and they've declined significantly over the past 6-7 years. Basically how this works is we set up mist nets, and we catch the bats in them. And when we catch a tricolored bat, we actually trim a little bit of fur off his back, and we use surgical glue to glue a radio transmitter on his back. During the day today, Mallory Tate, who's a student technician, she came out and found the bat in a roost tree, a clump of leaves that the bat has used for about 8 days in a row. We came to the tree this afternoon and the bat was gone, so that was unusual. The transmitter we glue on the bat emits a signal, which is basically a high-frequency radio signal, and we use an antenna and a receiver to pick up that antenna. So when you're pointing it directly at the bat with the transmitter, you'll get a stronger signal. And so you basically use that concept and to pinpoint exactly where the bat is.
This particular species of bat is kind of an anomaly because they like to choose dead leaves to roost in, where most other species that are tree roosting prefer climbing under the bark that's sloughing off.
How high do you think he is? You think he's way up there? I thought he was kind of midway somewhere.
This one strip of all these dead leaves is getting the same amount.
Oh, got him. I got him. We were lucky enough to locate it about 100 yards away in a new clump of leaves. And so that means at some point during the day today, that bat changed roosts, which is fairly unusual for bats. Obviously, they don't like to fly during the day, but this bat did for some reason. And it could be any number of reasons. There might have been a hawk or a squirrel or some other predator messing with him and just caused him to switch roost. Oh, yep, there he is. Where? It should be right around there. Yep, you see the transmitter now? It's that little light line right there. So the bat's right up in there.
You're kidding.
The bats choose leaves that wrap around them and protect them from the elements and from predators seeing them. So all we're looking for is the stainless steel wire antenna on the transmitter sticking out from a leaf. You have to have the lighting right, you have to have a pretty good idea of where it is using the telemetry, and then you have to have a little bit of luck. You know, you walk around in the woods, there's dead leaves everywhere. And so to actually pinpoint a clump of leaves that this bat's using, because it could be any leaf, but when you're actually able to visually see the transmitter, it's pretty special to see, you know. And when he flies off the roost, we're gonna keep the signal, and we're gonna use basically 2 cars and 2 receivers are going to take bearings to where the strongest signal is. And where those bearings cross is where the bat is foraged. And so we'll do that until about 4 a.m. we suspect is about the time that he'll come back, hopefully, to this area. And we'll use all those points to do an analysis on the type of habitats and area that he's using. Okay, let's get another point in 30 seconds.
We're ready whenever you are.
Okay, hold what you got. Time is 20:40. Once we get enough locations, we can kind of figure out how far he's going, the type of habitat he's using, and how much he prefers each of those habitats. Time to move again. Yeah, when the bat's moving, you're moving too. You know, when we started this, we expected that we would catch the bat on Bear Hollow and the bat would more or less stay on Bear Hollow. And never did we imagine the bat would travel 15 miles one way and back in one night. So it's really interesting results, very unexpected.
Okay, hold what you got, time is 22:07.
And we're hoping that in the future, this type of study will enable us to look at our management practices and kind of see if we're helping or hurting the bats, and kind of look for better things that we can do when managing our lands to make sure that these bats have good quality habitat, so that when they come out of hibernation in the winter, there's good habitat for them to recover from the effects of white nose syndrome.
Winter trout stocking is underway.
Today we put in about 2,000 rainbow trout, and the whole idea is to get people more involved.
I get on the website for TWRA all the time and look, and it's got the schedule on it. It tells you the date, it don't tell you the time. But I normally plan on trying to make it out at least the first chance I can.
It's a put and take type situation where we put the trout in there and it allows the anglers to take them out and take their limit of 7 and take them home, come back the next day and get some more. Dale Hall had just left at about 10:30. They dropped the fish off, and we had one guy at about 10:40. He'd caught his limit of 7. It took him a whole 10 minutes.
Oh, yes. I mean, every year, every month when they release the trout, I come here and catch them. 7 is the limit, so I wish I could catch more, but that's the limit. Oh, why? Because I love eating trout. It's the best fish there is.
I love the trout fish, fly fishing, tie my own flies. It's definitely a different experience catching a fish on the fly that you tied. So
a lot of these people, you know, live close by. We're in Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Tennessee, and a lot of these people are close by. If we didn't do this, they'd have to travel hours away just to trout fish.
I found it on the website, the stocking schedule. They stock it here in Smyrna and in Murfreesboro, which are both close to me, so I can go fish either fishery anytime I want.
They have to have a fishing license, and you also have a federal trout stamp to come out here and fish. With that, you can fish all day. Your limit is 7 trout that you can take home, but you can catch and release as many as you want to.
Being as they're stocked, they'll hit almost anything you throw out there to try to catch them with. Fly fishing, it's all about presenting the fly, and even though they're stocked, you still got to present the fly just right before they'll take it. It's relaxing to me anytime I'm out fishing, especially out here catching trout. It's definitely something to look forward to.
Our next story features information about hunting with kids.
Here it comes.
There's really not a lot of public access or areas that kids have an opportunity to go and hunt.
Drew, coming around the back.
This is the Murray County Youth Dove Hunt. It's been going on for the past 11 years now. The UT Ag Extension here in Spring Hill has been really good the past several years as far as giving us a place to hunt. But I think somebody got one right there. Yep.
This is my first good dove hunt.
This one?
Best.
You hunt a lot?
Right.
Deer. Dad.
Oh, it's been a great event. The kids have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All the kids that come out here have to be Hunter Ed certified, and they also have to be with a non-hunting adult. The reason we do that is just for there to be an involvement with a parent, but also for them to kind of teach their kids, you know about safe shots and stuff like that, and also have a good bonding experience with their child.
This is my 4th year. I love it. Best time to get out here, man. I mark it on the calendar, I mark the days off every day, just wishing it would be here quicker.
Usually this hunt right here fills up fairly quickly. Here at Spring Hill, we max out about 60 hunters, and that usually goes probably within the first 2 weeks. What they'll do is we'll announce it on Facebook, social media, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources website, and usually once that goes up, the emails get flooded just with people wanting to sign up for these events.
Coming around the backside of you.
You know, dove hunting is a little bit different than a lot of your other, big game hunting, where you've kind of got to sit there and be quiet. At least with dove hunting, you kind of communicate between, back and forth between the people right there you're hunting with. And a lot of times it's fast paced. You get a lot more shots than say when you are going big game hunting. We try to give away stuff that they can use in the field. This year we gave away some dove stools, some mojo doves, but our big grand prize that we do, this year we were able to acquire a TriStar 20 gauge setter. It's over and under shotgun, and one individual was lucky enough to get that gun.
Shot!
We have a lot of different sponsors for this event. Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, Tennessee Wildlife Officers Association, Corvin's Auto Repair, Community Heating and Air, Heritage Bank, Steve's Gun and Archery, Ted's, the list, Sundrop Bottling Company, the list goes on and on. This hunt wouldn't be, we couldn't do this event without the help of those sponsors year in, year out.
Dad.
Keeps a lot of them out of trouble. If they enjoy it, they're going to continue doing it, I think. I have. He has so far, so I think it's a great thing.
If the birds are here, you're going to have a good multiple bird shoot, and I think that's what everybody's had today. Yes, sir. Take care.
Let's catch up with our fish crew and learn about striper and hybrid management in Tennessee.
We're on Percy Priest Reservoir today. We went out yesterday and set gill nets.
And we're coming back this morning to pull them, and we're looking for hybrid striped bass and striped bass.
And we set 6 of those. Each net has 6 different size mesh panels. And the reason we use the different size meshes is to stock our evaluation of our stocking efforts. So we catch all different sizes of the fish.
This is really the biggest thing we're looking for is stocking deads.
So we saw a few of the fish that were stocked this spring, and they're probably 8 or 9 inches right now. And so we can get an idea of the success rate of our stocking, and then we can follow those small fish, for the next several years and sort of get an idea of the survival or the fish as they grow to the older ages. We had done this every year for several years, and then we sort of laid off for 2 or 3 years, and then we started getting, I guess it was mainly complaints from the fishermen that the numbers of hybrids seemed to be down, so we came back in and started sampling again, and so we found essentially the same thing through our net surveys, so we looked into it and tried to figure out what the problem was, and it's sort of turning around now the last couple 3 years. That's the otolith. We use that to age the fish. Well, essentially what we use now is called an otolith. It's essentially it's an inner ear bone that's it helps with balance of the fish, and we have to sacrifice the fish to take it. But it's just a free floating bone in the head, and we go in through the bottom of the fish, and we take that out, and then it's broken in half and polished, and that broken edge is looked through a microscope, and it's just got rings on it like a tree, and you can count the age of the fish, and it gives us an idea of longevity of the fish, and we can get an idea of our age structure of our fish when we put all this information of all the different sizes of fish that we collect in this sample.
Hey, let's close with a story all about Free Fishing Day.
Let's go, let's fish.
We're in Fayetteville, Tennessee today. We're at the 15th Annual Kids Fishing Day. We're here at the Fayetteville Stonebridge Park. It's a memorial park. It's been sponsored since the beginning by Walmart, TWA, and a couple other groups, but Fayetteville Parks and Recreation has been heavily involved, and this last few years we've had the Elks Lodge, number 1792, has been a part of it. And
the littlest fish in the pond. Look up here. I think it's awesome. I think it's we're from South Florida, and where we're from, you don't really have this. I mean, not really like this kind of an event. I think it's really good. First time us coming here, and the girls were here last year, but I really like it. I think it's awesome to introduce the kids to fishing.
I couldn't be more blessed than I am in Lincoln County as far as having a great outreach program, because the community itself gets involved, and that's one event or one thing that we really strived hard to try to achieve is these outreach and I&E related events. And I think they pay off. The community knows what we're doing. We build rapport with them. They know that we're responsible and ethical with the funds that they give us because we're reinvesting in the communities that we're involved in. And I think it's just a great opportunity to show off what we are and who we are. So these events have grown over time to where almost every county's got one going, and so that just puts our face to a name. We do law enforcement, sure, and that's who we are. We're game wardens, but we also are members of our community, and we're very tight-knit in that. So this event is only a product of a long time of putting together community and individuals and corporations and the agency and combining all that effort to pull something like this off.
I got a fish.
Catfish. There. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Tennessee Outdoor Journal. We'll see you next time. Tennessee Outdoor Journal is produced by your Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Tell me who will carry on this work that we've begun.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniels. When I was a kid, I loved baseball and football and all kind of stuff, but my favorite pastime was when my daddy would get me up early in the morning, we'd go hunting or fishing. Out in the fresh air on the water or back in the woods, and you learn a lot. You got kids, take them hunting, take them fishing. Join me, buy a hunting or fishing license. Let's keep wildlife in Tennessee. That's a doggone good thing.
Buy your license today at GoOutdoorsTennessee.com.
Hi, I'm Tracy Lawrence, just letting you know that the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency supports itself and manages all of the state's wildlife with the dollars invested by hunters and fishermen when they buy licenses. If you've never bought a license, but appreciate the abundant wildlife we enjoy in this state, I encourage you to do it. Start with the Type 01. It's a great investment in Tennessee wildlife. Learn more at tnwildlife.org.
Buy your license today at GoOutdoorsTennessee.com.